Welcome to Sankalan 5 Minutes with Pradip. In this episode, I'm going to talk something which I learned in last 1 week by going through many books on Mahabharata. What I found in these books that every writer had taken a different perspective. Some of them has glorified Krishna as a hero. Some of them have glorified Bhishma as a hero. But my objective in this episode is not to glorify any character. Rather, learn something for our corporate life, on our corporate leadership style. So I'm going to take two characters today. One is Bhishma and one is Krishna. And see what do we learn for our corporate leadership style. Take the first character. Let's analyze the character of Bhishma. The two incidences, what happened in Mahabharata, where Bhishma came under huge criticism. The first one was abducting Amba, and second one was Chirharan, or disrobing of Draupadi. In first case, Bhishma abducted 3 of the princes of Kashi, and when he came to know that one of them, called Amba, was in love with King Selva, he ordered her to go back. But when King Selva refused to marry her, she came back and asked Bhishma that now you have abducted and my lover is not marrying me. So now you have to marry me. That time, Bhishma said no. So what do we see in this case? Whether the act of abducting Amba and refusing to marry and leaving her in lurch was an act of dharma or adharma. Now take the second story of Mahabharata, the Chirharan of Draupadi or disrobing of Draupadi. When Duryodhan won Draupadi in the game of dice, and he ordered that she should be dragged to the court, she should be disrobed and made to sit on his thigh. Draupadi looked at Bhishma and pleaded for the help. He also questioned him whether she was won fairly in the game of dice. The answer of Bhishma was very evasive. Possibly, had he stopped what was going on in the court of Hastinapur, that possibly would have avoided the war of Mahabharata and could have saved millions of lives. But Bhishma remained unsure what was right, what was wrong. He could not decide. The life of Bhishma is a big lesson for the leaders, because every time the leader comes under a conflicting situation and he had to take a side, what is wrong and which is the one which will have the far-reaching consequences. There is always a dilemma of short-term versus long-term, always a dilemma of truth versus loyalty. The action what a leader takes under such a situation decides the future course of the organization. Take the other character of Mahabharata, Krishna. Even though in Mahabharata he has been shown as the charioteer of Arjuna, but his actions during the war has many more questions than the answer. He timely and right advice helped Pandavas to win the war. But all his advice and actions are not ever bold. Asking Arjun to kill Karna when his will was struck in a wet soil. Other example, prompting Bhim to kill Duryodhan by hitting at his weak point on his thigh. There are many such incidents in Mahabharata which always shows that Krishna sacrificed the value of life. He sacrificed the ethical behavior. that as a leader, sometimes we need to sacrifice something in the short term to achieve something in the long term. To conclude, the story of Mahabharata shows that the action what we take as a leader has got a far-reaching spiral consequences. It's not just for ourselves, but also for the organization. So, we as a leader must understand that the action what we are taking is not for today. The action what we take is forever and for long term. So, in my opinion, we as a leader sometimes should sacrifice short term goal to achieve something in the long term.